Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pitch Side Podcast channel. I'm your host, the HOD of the PSP, and we're coming straight off after the Borussia M'Gladbach versus Bayern game, and it has been coming, hasn't it? It has been coming for Bayern Munich, and it's been, the sign's been there, and it finally happened. It was that game where Bayern lost eventually in the Bundesliga. I'm your host, HOD of the PSP again. Like, share, comment what you think of the game overall. Subscribe to the channel, most importantly, if you're new. Help us grow even more. Enable notifications to receive all the updates of this kind of match recaps as all the content on our channel. And I mentioned it in the podcast earlier. I said that, I said it jokingly, really. I said that we became accustomed too much to lead to trailing and coming back from behind, that we probably, when we're going to be leading next time, we're going to lose. And I didn't expect it to come too soon. Bayern started pretty strong. It was a better start than usual for Bayern the first 15 minutes. Possessing, not having attempts really, but possessing the ball and trying to pull M'Gladbach out, who certainly started with a classic 4-4-2, pretty compact formation with the absence of play and around the plate with Stindl and Mbola up front. They welcomed the returns of both Jonas Hoffmann and Rami Ben Sabeni. Now, when you start that way and you don't manage to score, obviously that start to creeps in, and Bayern got a penalty in the 20th minute to lead and to give themselves the lead, and I really don't want to debate the penalty a lot, because I think it's quite contentious. I'm gonna cut my opinion. It shouldn't have been given. It shouldn't have been given. Really, it should have been a penalty. I thought it was too saggy to be a penalty. Too soft. Let's put it this way. It was too soft to be given as a penalty. Bayern took the lead, not by what I thought. Okay. The penalty was contentious, it could have been not given, but we took the lead, so let's go. And Bayern, had some solid 5-6 minutes afterwards where they pressed Borussia M'Gladbach really high, forced some errors out of them, and one of those errors was the second goal by Goretzka. Beautiful finish, by the way, from him after linking up with Sané. Terrific. Now, after that, for some reason, Bayern regressed behind, and Borussia M'Gladbach started pressing higher, starting moving even forward up the pitch. They didn't have exactly the most dangerous of chances prior to the goals, but they were moving up. They were trying to catch Bayern on that high line. They had a couple of offside goals. But when you have someone like Söhle in the back, who, for all of his decent abilities, and he has some decent abilities, he is not good on the ball. He is not comfortable on the ball. He gave the ball a couple of times away. His passes were not exactly accurate. And in one of those passes, combination with him and Pavard really, and being bad, in the back, they gave the ball away. David Alaba scored of his position. Jonas Hoffmann made a brilliant run behind, and Lars Stindl just had to pass it between them. He did, and it was 2-1 by 36 minutes. And then it hit me, and I realised, okay, this is going to be happening. And the closer we got to the first half, the closer I thought that, okay, Borussia M'Gladbach are closer to equalising. They started threatening even more. Bayern looked a little bit shakier than usual. At the back, David Alaba still, starting and winding up, having bad performances after all. Why you don't play with Lucas Hernandez? Why don't choose him over Alaba? I don't really know. Guy, clearly his mind isn't in somewhere else. Pavard has been bad. I'm not going to say that the midfield was bad, but I think Kimmich and Goretzka were really decent. It was more of a three goals were basically giveaways, or some sort of, being caught on the high line. Alaba scored again, and right at the stroke of half-time you can see the goal that I think Bayern shouldn't have conceded. Let's be fair, Bayern shouldn't have conceded that they had the possession and they were caught. Again, the high line, typical goals conceded by Bayern. Getting caught on the high line, Lars Stindl once again playing an even better pass than the first goal, assisting Jonas Hoffmann once again. It is 2-2 between the two sides at halftime, and I was like, this is different. And I had the fear that this was different, because Borussia M'Gladbach, a drastically better side than Mainz. You cannot in any way, shape or form think that Bayern just routed them in the second half and beat them 5-2, and exactly that's what happened. 5 minutes into the second half, Bayern again having a bad time starting the second half. Just like the game against Mainz, this time Borussia M'Gladbach were more clinical, and Florian Neuhaus with a beautiful finish from Jonas Hoffmann assist this time. It all started again from a giveaway, but from Niklas Süle giving the ball straight away to Beryl Mbolo, and you don't want to give the ball there, but Niklas Süle unfortunately gave the ball there, and Borussia Mönchengladbach took it and scored, and that was Borussia Mönchengladbach's only shot on target in the second half. If you don't believe it, go check the stats. It's only one shot on target for them in the entire second half. I mean, Bayern as well had only one shot on target in the second half, but it was panic mode for Bayern afterwards. But if you want any stat or any number to sort of explain how it was destined to be, Hansi Flick made only one substitution. He brought in Coman for Costa, and he was like, okay, I'm fine. I'm done with substitutions, no more for this game. This was the sort of game where Bayern, showed what they can look like at their worst, and this was their worst performance. I would argue this is even worse than the one against Hoffenheim, because the one against Hoffenheim had at least the asterisk of them just returning from UEFA Super Cup final, physically jaded, playing with pretty much the same side, and that at least gave them an escape out of it. And I think I never thought that Bayern would lose like that, because I thought it is much easier for them to lose 4-0 or 5-0 or 5-1 or lose 4-1 like they lost against Hoffenheim at that time, than to lose by this kind of result and this kind of way to the opponent coming back from a lead against them and scoring 3 past them. I mean, scoring 3 past Bayern is pretty expected, because when they play that high line, they're bound to concede. Almost any team in the Bundesliga can score against them, and about literally every team in the Bundesliga did, aside from Schalke. I don't know how they couldn't. But in the end, I would say that this is a good wake-up call. I know this is disappointing. Probably the only team that could take advantage of this, or the only 2 teams that would take advantage of this, really, are Leipzig and Bayer Leverkusen behind them. Both play tomorrow, with Leipzig, of course, playing Dortmund, Leverkusen playing Werder Bremen, and this could be a big chance for both those teams to close the gap for one, and for Leipzig to go top on the table, maybe, if they defeat Dortmund tomorrow. It's going to be a good wake-up call for Bayern. This is the kind of games that show Hansi Flick what he should do, and I think what he should do is clear, is to try and instigate more solidity in the back, and that couldn't happen when you keep playing Alaba and Süle. You need someone good on the ball on that right-hand side, and that right-hand side of the defense, really, as a whole, in Süle and Pavard, is really, really bad, and you cannot in any way, shape or form keep relying on that combo. At some point of the season, I would think Kimmich would drop back to a right back. I don't even want to think about relying on Bouna Sarr, because it's not good, and you're going to need to start with Musiala or Roca in the midfield. Why you didn't start with either of them? Why you didn't brought them as subs? Why you didn't give Musiala a chance? Maybe he could give you something else. Now, I'm not going to be turning this into a rant, because I'm pretty rational when I watch football. I don't really like to be that kind of ranting person, but there's some things that really mind boggle you and just leave you questioning a lot of things in football. I'm not going to say... I just said it already. I said this is the worst performance of Bayern this season, and I'm standing by it. Borussia Mönchengladbach, big win for them. No discrediting for them in any way, shape or form. I want to give them full credit here. They played the brilliant game. They played probably their best game of the season. This is, for Mönchengladbach, this is going to be doing the opposite of what it's going to be doing against Bayern. If you are Man City and you're looking at this game, I think you should have some signs that things could be worrying. Things before this game, I'm certain that it looked pretty straightforward, like Man City on their best form, Gladbach on their worst form. But now I think, looking at what they did tonight against Bayern, Man City would be like, okay, we might take some lessons here. Again, no discrediting for what Marco Rose did. He played to his strengths, and considering he missed Thuram and Player, actually, thinking about it, missing Thuram and Player probably would have been best for Bayern considering the result, because if Thuram and Player were there, they would capitalise for sure on those spaces in the back line. And when the goals come in from two midfielders for Mönchengladbach, you know that you have a problem in your high line, and you know that you need to change or need to modify some of that high line really as soon as you can do. Overall, I'm not gonna talk much. I'm not gonna give player ratings or anything like that because that's not my thing. Just a couple of players that I want to point out. I think Costa was really, really bad. Pavard, I'm not going to say get rid of him, but he needs to learn a bit of lessons. He needs to get his working boots on. Alaba and Söyle, both of them. I think Alaba a little bit better than Söyle because he's good on the ball at least, and he didn't give away a lot of passes like Söyle did. Like basically the 3 goals, 2 giveaways, and a wrong positioning and a way too high line. Neuer saved twice probably that high line, but in the third time, everything has a code, or every sort of every mistake has its payoff, and that was the payoff for Bayern for not reading the signs pretty much and not taking the lessons from the 8 games, count them, 8 games when they went trailing and they saved themselves somehow. Again, all credit to Borussia M'Gladbach for winning. Played the smart game. All discredit for Bayern Munich for losing that way in particular, coming back from behind for Borussia M'Gladbach and giving away a 2-0 lead. Hopefully this should be the wake-up call again for Bayern before it happens at a worse time. Champions League knockout stages. This should have been happening. This was coming again. I expected it really. I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. If they lost, if Borussia M'Gladbach had the normal lead and they won, I would be completely happy really, because at least a team took the lead and won. But this kind of result and the details of the match and the circumstances of the match as a whole really disappoint me more than surprise me. Sorry if I made this longer than possible. Maybe you will not bear going through this really. It turned pretty much into a rant. I'm sorry, but I had to get some things out off my chest. I said it already in the podcast. I was afraid for Bayern and the sides were coming, and it happened. It's good that it happened now. Better than it happens at another time. Just to wrap up again, congratulations Mönchengladbach. And let's see what is going to happen in the Bundesliga and how the other clubs are going to be trying to get advantage of that. Like, share, comment on this video what you thought of this game really. How do you rate the players? What do you think is going to happen in the future? What Bayern should fix? Credits to Mönchengladbach again, congratulations one more time. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Most importantly, enable notifications to receive the updates. I'm going to be going back to the game more in the podcast. I'm not sure I can say more than what I did here, but I will try to find something to say. Enable notifications again. Follow us on social media. I'm at SitePSP on Twitter. Find me there on Instagram at PitchSitePod. Listen tomorrow to the podcast on Spotify or any other platform. I'm your host, HOD of the PSP. And until the next time, you'll see me soon. Goodbye.